Live action roleplay is theatre sports with armour and swords and magic. Imaginary magic.
Live action roleplay is a combination of collaborative storytelling and impromptu theatre, where you have a world presented to you and you create a place in that world with you and other people.
When I LARP, I feel like I am playing a different aspect of myself or bringing out different parts of, like, my personality.
We're from the Society of Venitus, very prominent scholars.
I'm not about to give you a tour if it's just going to leave you dead.
Surely you can give us a tour of Hellefeld, please.
Yeah. I was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome at about age 4. It started when I was in primary school. When I was a teenager in high school, it really flared up during that age with puberty and everything. It got a lot worse. My tics became a lot louder, a lot more distracting. And it was difficult because the high school didn't really provide any sort of accessibility for that. They didn't know how to handle it, and they honestly didn't seem too interested in handling it either. So I struggled through high school with that, with a lot of bullying and a lot of depression. The LARP community was very accommodating to me when I first began, and I didn't know if my Tourette's syndrome would be an annoyance or a hindrance, but they were completely accepting of it. They just recognised it was a part of who I was. So if I was ticking in character, they would simply pretend it wasn't happening. They wouldn't be annoyed. They wouldn't try to hurry me up. And then I actually started leaning a bit more into it and thinking, okay, this is something I can use in my acting. And all the experienced LARPers thought it was awesome. They thought, that's fantastic. You're using your Tourette's to just build on this character you've already created.
I got to learn better social skills. I got to learn how to talk to others. I got to learn basic things like eye contact. It's even helped me learn how to negotiate. It gave me the chance to challenge myself and applying the social skills that I wanted to learn or that I read up on or I got taught, but didn't really quite have the chance to do it in such a way that it was a safe environment if I ever screwed up or if I said the wrong thing. When you're in the LARP, everyone is like seeing each other as the characters they're playing as opposed to their real world selves. Sometimes I've noticed that LARPers actually, or people in LARPs, tend to be a more authentic version of themselves than they otherwise would allow themselves to be in daily life.
Pretty much from the earliest stages of my development, it was just dark the whole way. My dad committed suicide when I was 11, and then my uncle when I was 12. Back then, mental illness wasn't really a thing that they even knew, and talked about it even less. When you have so much stuff like that in your life, you genuinely start to think, you know, it's my fault. This is what I deserve. With depression, you've always got that voice in the back of your head that just, its sole job seems to be to tear down everything that you do, and it's very good at it. And the best thing you can hope for is something to distract it enough just to make it quiet for you to proceed with your day. And LARP is just so full on every scale that the voice goes away. Some of the ways that they recommend you deal with depression is physical activity, doing something you love, and socialising. And those three things are basically the key aspects of LARP. Work with your hands, you work with your mind, you work with other people, you work with your imagination, so you've got that aspect of it. And then the physical aspect of it is you run around and you beat people with swords. When I started LARPing, it didn't take too long. I think it was about 2 or 3 games when a couple of other players picked up Like when I was having a bad moment, they'd be like, "Oh, it's the black dog got you," and I was like, "What is that?" And then they explained that's LARP's keyword for, is depression hitting you hard? And that's the way they would ask without, calling you out. And within like 5 to 10 minutes, there was 8 or 9 people around me just making sure I was okay. And now they'll do it in a way that doesn't disrupt the game. They're like, "Oh, we're going on a mission." And then the 8 of you would leave and you're on a mission. And then you'd come back and everything would be all right. And once that happened, LARPing just got so much better.
When I first started LARPing, I was actually severely overweight. I was 120 kilos. I had largely been eating out of depression, and I wasn't very physical at all. I never played sports when I was in high school because I was too anxious. I would start going to the combat practice evenings where we would learn how to properly swing a sword. I started doing HEMA, in which, you actually go in with full steel weapons, you have armour, and you will learn proper European sword fighting, how they used to fight as knights and as soldiers. I started doing martial arts, both Eastern and Western. It was really fun to be able to learn how to move my body, how to fight better in LARP, even though we weren't doing full combat. I actually earned the nickname in the LARP community, Buff the Magic Dragon, and it became a bit of a running joke that you will always see chemists with his shirt off at least once in a LARP. That introduction to LARP definitely changed my life trajectory. I suddenly became far more interested in physical sports. I became far more interested in fitness and in combat sports, and it really just drove me towards improving myself even further. We actually met at the tabletop gaming club at University of Auckland that my friend was part of, who initially got me into LARP. We met during one of the first nights of the year when we were starting up all the games. We were in the same game together. Afterwards, we just kept talking and we clicked and asked her out a month later.
Yep, pretty much that.
LARPing as a couple has really allowed us to get to know one another a lot better than we otherwise would. I mean, we're sharing a fantastic hobby. It's creative. We can soundboard, we can bounce ideas off each other, but we've also enjoyed playing a pair in a LARP, characters who have a connection.
Sometimes it's quite interesting watching your partner play or empathize with aspects of your personality and vice versa. When you take a walk in someone else's shoes, sometimes you walk in shoes terribly similar to your partner's.
Seeing Juniper grow in the LARP scene when I initially had met her and she was very shy and reserved, it was fantastic because I got to know the girl behind that shy and reserved face and just how creative and wonderful she was. And then I saw her putting that out to the rest of the world through LARPing. I saw her, embracing everything she could be. And it was really nice to see her growing in confidence and having other people see just what I saw in her.
You have this fantastic game that you get to play. You get to run around in amazing armor and yell at people who won't take it personally. And you get to hit them with swords. And then at the end of it, go to an actual real world bar and have a drink and they become your best friends. Well, I haven't found anything in today's world that takes all of that and then puts it into one place.
Because they just go, "Hey, look, here's your place. You've written a character, here it is. You belong with us and you belong in this universe. This is the place that you've made yourself and this is the place that you've written yourself in, and we will respect that."
Being able to pretend that you're somebody else completely from top to tail for a whole weekend it really helps with the really helps shut the voice up in the back of my head. And it lasts for a while as well, because you always get to look back and pretend that, oh yeah, I was amazing for a weekend. And when your every day is the opposite of that, a weekend of I'm amazing, you can't really put a price on that. So.